the North Shore have been seeing consistent snow since sunset.
And we've gotten reports of enough to play in from Kentwood over to Bogalusa and even as far south as Beatico at this hour. We find North Shore Bureau Chief Ashley Rodrigue in Covington tonight. Hey, Ashley, how's it going out there?
Hey there, Natalie. So at about 9:30, we started getting snow right here in downtown Covington. You can see a good bit of it collected, over that 30 minutes. However, now we're getting pelted with rainy ice. The snow disappeared right in time for this shot, but this is exactly why there's having so many issues on the roads, because of all this ice transitioning over. But, we're here in downtown Covington, but earlier we started out in a meet, and there we witnessed moderate snow that blanketed the downtown area. Sometimes the winds would swirl and you would have like mini snowstorms, and then other times it would vary between really large flakes and then really tiny flurries. Then we later traveled through Franklinton and down through Folsom into Covington. At the times we were traveling from the St. Tammany line south, there was no snow, but like I mentioned, around 9:30 that changed here in downtown Covington, and I was getting reports from folks over in Folsom and even down in Beatico, as we mentioned, about seeing snow. And it wasn't just a little bit, it was really good, heavy looking snow. And while all of this is very pretty, the snow and ice has been wreaking havoc on the roadways, as we just talked about, and that's been keeping first responders busy.
It snowed twice in a winter season. I don't like it at all. The call volume's up and we're extra busy. I'm just grateful that I can come get something to eat after a shift. People driving in the snow, driving too fast in poor weather conditions.
All right, now as we showed you earlier today, the St. Tammany and Tangipahoa Parish Public Works folks were putting sand over the bridges because of them icing over, and Washington Parish says they're going to be doing that in the morning, but obviously we are seeing the reason why. Lots of wrecks, lots of closures, because the ice, which is pelting my face right now, is going to turn over into ice on the road. So definitely, if you can avoid the roads, avoid them. If you have to be on them, be extremely careful. Live in downtown Covington, Ashley Rodrigue, Eyewitness News.
Ashley, thank you. Here on the South Shore, we're seeing freezing and below freezing conditions.
And Jade Cunningham joins us live from downtown New Orleans. And Jade, how are the conditions where you are?
Natalie and Ton, right now it is wet and it is very cold, both elements that don't work well for drivers. You can see that the roads actually are already very wet, and as temperatures are expected to get even colder tonight, it could create some dangerous conditions, especially when people take to the roads. Officials, though, are of course urging drivers to be extra cautious. They also have some other advice for people all over as we deal with these freezing temperatures tonight and early tomorrow morning. It doesn't matter where you are, though, whether it's Orleans Parish, Jefferson Parish, or somewhere nearby, it's advice that everybody should be listening to.
People were bundled up in New Orleans Tuesday trying to stay warm ahead of the expected winter-like weather.
It's kind of cold and my feet are freezing.
As day turned to night, temperatures began to drop. At the lakefront, the wintry mix hadn't arrived, but the wind sure picked up, creating waves that spilled over the seawall.
I got pajama pants on, and 2 pajama pants on, and a pair of regular pants, a sweater, and a long sleeve shirt and a jacket.
Friends Colin Cowell and Colin Lacoste braved the frigid temps to see what was happening. With classes canceled tomorrow, their plan is simply to stay inside.
Not much snow or nothing yet, but hoping it comes. I want to see some snow.
For the South Shore, it's ice, not snow, that's the big concern, which is why city leaders are urging residents to get off the roads and stay home.
The forecasters are predicting that New Orleans could see temperatures as low as 9 degrees with the wind chill. That's cold for New Orleans people.
The below freezing temperatures are expected until Wednesday afternoon, which is why New Orleans Fire Chief Tim McConnell asks anyone who uses a space heater to be extra vigilant.
These space heaters we're talking about, you need to keep them 3 feet away from any combustible materials such as furniture or curtains or clothing.
Sewerage and water board officials had their own warning for those trying to keep their pipes from freezing.
When they run their water, to run a spaghetti thin stream of water at the faucet furthest away from where the water connects to their home.
It's all advice city officials hope people will take seriously. That way they won't just stay warm, more importantly they'll stay safe, maybe even enjoying it a little bit.
It's pretty crazy to see. You don't see stuff like this out here in New Orleans like that. It's really rare.
Well, here we are in downtown New Orleans on Canal, and cars here are already accumulating ice. You can see on this windshield here, and with these freezing temperatures, officials are really encouraging anybody who needs shelter to seek one, especially when it comes to the homeless. If they need transportation to a shelter, they can call 821-2222. Reporting live in downtown New Orleans, Jay Cunningham, Eyewitness News.
Jade, thank you. This mix of snow, sleet, and freezing temperatures can cause dangerous road conditions. Authorities are urging people to take precautions if you have to drive. They're reminding people that elevated roads and overpasses can freeze sooner than surface streets and interstates. If you do encounter black ice or slick conditions and have anti-lock brakes, press on them firmly to avoid skidding. If you don't have anti-lock brakes, gently pump your brakes and avoid steering abruptly. Of course, officials say the best way to stay safe is to stay off the roads altogether. The freezing temperatures are forcing people across the South Shore to brace for the wintry mix.
Several agencies and businesses are watching the forecast. Carice Jackman joins us now live at the lakefront with a look at the conditions out there. Hey, Carice.
Hey Natalie, hey Ton, yes, and the conditions out here are extremely windy right now. If you can see the sleet kind of hitting my face over here to the right side, and then if you look over my right shoulder there, you can see how strong the wind is pushing the water from the seawall onto the sidewalk here. Now, we spoke with Entergy crews. They're going to monitor this area and the conditions here in the city overnight. And meanwhile, while they do that, people we spoke to across the city plan on staying put and staying inside.
Keep the water running.
Growing up in Indiana, Mid-City resident Nathan Lipson knows all about frigid air, but he wasn't expecting this. Even for a Midwesterner, is this cold for you?
Oh yeah, this is chilly, and the humidity doesn't help, and it's windy too, so.
And with the Arctic chill dipping lower in the next few hours, Lipson and his dog Casey are doing everything they can to prepare.
I got the heat turned on and just got a lot of blankets.
A winter weather advisory is in effect for most of southeast Louisiana, with temperatures on the South Shore expected to dip into the 20s. The wind chill factor will make it feel even colder. Entergy crews and trucks are on standby, monitoring the weather and preparing for any power outages.
Accumulated precipitation on the vegetation could cause the trees and tree branches to sag into the power lines, which could possibly cause outages. So we'll be ready to prepare as needed.
Entergy is reminding people if a power line does come down, stay away from the equipment and call them for help.
If by chance they lose power, it would be great if they would turn off their central heating unit and leave it off until the power is restored. And then once the power is restored, please wait about 10 minutes before they turn that unit back on. And that will prevent overloading the system, which would cause other problems.
It's not just Entergy. Kurt LeBlanc at Harold's Plants in the Bywater spent the day preparing.
This morning we got up really early, went through the entire place, anything that was tender, which was bedding plants, herbs, vegetables, ferns. We took all of those in.
Most of them are now stored inside this greenhouse. How many plants do you have in here?
We have thousands of plants in here.
From petunias to succulents and Australian ferns, LeBlanc says they're making sure their plants and their livelihoods are protected from this latest freeze. Now, another thing Entergy crews plan on doing is monitoring these strong winds. They don't think that it's going to impact us anyway, but they said that's the one thing they have to monitor if it hits a power line. But if it does so, they plan on being out there and taking the precautions needed. Reporting live at the lakefront, I'm Carice Jackman, Eyewitness News.